Good evening. Good evening. I am jamesiajohnai, the wealth creator. I show people how to use other people's money to pay their mortgage, create cash flow, generate generational wealth, and protect their assets. Today, the topic of this video is 5 reasons why you should not buy real estate right now, right? So 5 reasons why now is not a good time to purchase property, right? 5 reasons why now is not a good time to purchase property. I am a licensed real estate professional in the state of Illinois. Also, real estate investor, owned property before I became a real estate broker. We only have brokers here in the state of Illinois, and tonight I'm gonna bring you 5 reasons why now is not a good time to buy, right? 5 reasons why now is not a good time to buy. So do me a favor, when you come in, say hello. Even if you're not watching this live, say hello, let me know you're here. If you're a little shy and you don't want to comment, feel free to slide in my inbox any comments, questions, concerns, and connect with me. Everybody doesn't want to be out there, you know, and hello Earl, how you doing? Everybody doesn't want to be out there. So I'm gonna kick it off with number 5. Somebody here can put a number 5 in the box for me. I'm gonna go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, sorta. Not sorta, I always say sorta. I'm gonna start with 5 and work my way down to number 1, right? So starting from the 5th reason why, going all the way up to the number 1 reason for this video's sake why now is not a good time to purchase real estate. If you are an investor or thinking about home ownership, purchasing property, right? I'm glad you're here and tuned in. So hey Ebony, how you doing? Like the video, love the video, share the video if you so choose. So number 5, somebody put a 5 in the comments for me. The number 5 reason is you've never looked at your credit report. You don't know what a FICO score is, right? And that may sound crazy. However, it's amazing how people will research a cell phone. They will research purchasing a lot of things, but when it comes to home ownership, and we don't know what we don't know. Don't get me wrong, right? We don't know what we don't know. When it comes to home ownership, there are so many free home buying seminars, free webinars, free things put on, and I can only speak for Chicago, right? There are so many things that are put on and generated, and especially with people who are on social media or have access to social media, that it's amazing. Hi Tyshawn, how you doing? If I didn't pronounce your name right, put the pronunciation in the box, right? It's so many people who don't understand the criteria to buy, what's necessary to buy. So that's the first thing. Some people have never looked at their credit report, don't have a credit score. Doesn't mean you're not, if buying is your goal, great. However, know how you are, know what you look like on paper. Do you have a credit score? Some people don't, and I'm not saying this to be funny. We've had clients come to us, and when you pull their credit report, there's nothing there, right? No credit is just as bad as bad credit. At least bad credit, there is some sort of foundation there or some history for credit, right? So if you've never looked at your credit before, and if you're ready for number 4, and stay tuned for number 1 if you're here, you don't want to miss number 1. It's very important. If you're ready for number 4, put number 4 in the box. But the first thing is annualcreditreport.com is free. You can pull your credit, you can pull your Experian, your Equifax, and your TransUnion. Do one every 4 months, so you get all 3 free throughout the year, right? Credit Karma, I'm not a fan of Credit Karma. However, the fact that people are looking at their credit or care about their credit, great. but you also need to understand your FICO score. Mortgage lenders are not lending on your Vantage score. They are lending on your FICO score, right? Yes, thank you, Earl. And it's FICO though. FICO. FICA is what they take out of your paycheck. That's some taxes. But knowing your FICO score, not your Vantage score. Some people are looking at their scores. Oh, my score is this. And it's like, where did you get your score from? Credit Karma. And it's like, okay, more than likely I'll have to take some deductions. But, or when we pull your FICO score is going to look different. However, the fact that people are looking at their credit and care about their credit is great, right? So the number 4 reason is you allow your tax preparer to give you the maximum refund. So you do like this. Do whatever it takes. Yep, I want the max refund. You can give me you have no children, but you're getting $7,000 back on your taxes. You have no property, right? So we've had people, so let me tell you all what happens. You send in your you send in your 1040 and your W-2s. I almost said W-4s, but the W-4 is the form that you fill out. So you send in your 1040s and your W-2s to your loan officer. Great. Loan officer kind of looks it over. Everything looks good. Adjusted gross income is great or whatever. If you're just joining, say hello, press the like button, love button, share button. If you have questions, comments, drop them. Or you can inbox me if you don't feel comfortable. So now, and I have an example I'm going to share. So you submit your 1040s and your W-2s, right? And then it gets down to the wire, and now the lender has requested your transcripts from the IRS. So I have 2 examples. First example, one of my colleagues, his client, the lender gets the transcripts and comes back and says, it shows that you've been getting an income tax refund for the last 2 years, but you're not showing that, you know, where's that money? And the man was like, no, I always owe. And they're like, no. According to the IRS transcripts, hey, Keisha, how you doing? According to the IRS transcripts, you got a refund. Now, this story is a little sordid. So, the tax preparer was married. I believe the client was married. The client and the tax preparer were having relations. So, she's telling the client he owes, and the whole time she's taking his refund and it's going into her account. So you need to actually, not only you're not getting the max refund, you need to kind of have an understanding of what's on your taxes. Using another example, lender comes back and says, well, you have this business. Where's the information about the business? And the client is like, I don't have a business. And they're like, yeah, according to your tax transcripts, you have a daycare or something. What? Because you told your tax preparer, yeah, whatever, give me the max refund. You have a whole business on your taxes that you know nothing about. Now you think you're ready to buy a house, right? Or purchase property and go through traditional lender, traditional funding, and your tax transcripts are pulled and you have a whole business, right? And the thing is, we sign off on our taxes, right? So will the tax preparer get in trouble? Maybe, maybe not. But at the end of the day, we signed off and told the IRS these things are accurate to our understanding, right? These are things that can kill deals or show that you're not even ready to go to the closing table. Am I trying to say you need to be a tax preparer? No. But if you're going and, oh yeah, just give me the max refund, right? It comes out in the rinse. It comes out in the wash. The chickens will come home to roost, right? They will come home to roost, right? So, ready 3. If you're ready for number 3, drop a number 3 in the comments. Hey, Christopher. Christopher is a mortgage loan officer. Read, and look at what you signed. Yeah, and so many people don't look at what they sign, right? And now they're ready to buy. And it's not even necessarily that you intentionally did anything wrong. A lot of times people don't know. All they know is, I want the max refund, right? And you get the max refund, which is cool. Hey, Tori, if you're going to stick around. You get the max refund, which is cool. But again, now you own this business. Or on the other side, you were actually getting a tax, like that lady, the client was getting a tax refund. She had put her account information on there. So when his tax refund came, it was going to the tax preparer's office instead of going to him. And now he's trying to purchase property, gets his transcripts, and they're like, where's your refund? And he's like, no, I always owe money. And not only that, who was he paying the money that he owed to? The tax preparer? Like, the IRS will contact you if you actually owe them money. They'll send you information. So when she drew up his paperwork, she had, so for me, when I do my taxes, and I'll get to number 3, I'm sorry, you all, I had to stay here for a minute. When I do my taxes, my tax preparer will say, okay, this is your refund this year, or this is how much you owe, and this is what you need to do to pay. I always end up owing the state. This is what you need to do to pay the state or whatever. Tia Shine said, I work for a credit card company and folks don't read terms and conditions and they don't understand credit. That's a good point, right? Because number 5, I started with looking at your credit report, understanding your FICO, and that just gave me an idea about a bonus. Because you're right, people don't read the T&C. So I had to write that down because I'll forget, right? Christopher said, which deductions do you claim and why will you owe the IRS? Can you understand your own monthly debt? We getting there, right? So number 3, you don't have any money saved, right? And I'm just being real and raw with you all today, right? Christopher can attest to this as a loan officer. Tori saw a lot of things if she's here as a CPA, tax preparer, right? So a client will go to a loan officer like, oh, I'm ready to buy a house. And the loan officer, or purchase property. And the loan officer is like, great, you know, what's your social? They're going to pull your credit, right? How much money do you make? Great. I know how much money you make. Cool, right? How much money do you have saved? Oh, I have like $100. You're not ready. You're not ready, right? Customary, earnest money. You find a property. You put an offer. You want to buy. They want their money within 3 days. Usually it's like a minimum of $1,000. Now there are some investors out here that will say they can put down $10 earnest money, whatever, fine, right? I'm talking traditional real estate right now, right? They want a minimum of $1,000. Sometimes people want $2,500, $3,000. There are grants and different programs that have been out there, yes. However, thinking about the pandemic, right? We don't want to be one paycheck away from losing it, right? My goal, 2020 and beyond, and it's always been my goal, I'm now showing people how to purchase, protect, and pass down property, right? So if you don't have savings, you're not ready to be a homeowner. You're not, right? When I bought my building, it was so much work I had to do when I bought it. And luckily I had reserves and money saved and lines of credit and different things like that. And I'm not saying use credit. But, you know, wake up one day and my aunt is like, and if you're ready for number 2, put a 2 in the comments. My aunt is like, there was no hot water when I got dressed this morning. She would leave for work at like 4 in the morning. So I'm like, I know I paid the gas bill and the water bill, right? But this is the winter time. So I go in the basement, hot water tank busted, right? I immediately call my uncle who gives me some information on somebody. They come out the same day. I order the tank, they pick it up from Home Depot, they put it in. My tenants don't want to hear, oh, I gotta wait till I get paid, or I have to wait until you pay your rent, right? It's important because things happen. When I moved back into this home, hot water tank went out, but it hadn't been used for a couple years. Hot water tank went out, needed a new hot water tank. Then the furnace went out, needed a new furnace. Things happen, right? Chris said, thank you. Is it Shargina? Thank you so much. Press the like button, press the love button, share. If you don't have a minimum of your own skin in a game, you must have reserves. And that's the thing, like, people think, oh, you know, there's down payment assistance, or I can use NACA. Nothing against NACA. There are all these programs out here. One of my clients was able to purchase a multi-unit. Purchase price was like $110,000 in Roseland, fully occupied 2-flat. They received $20,000 in a grant, but they had to come to the table with almost $4,000. But financially, they were in position to do that. People like to give money to people that don't need money. Now, no, everybody doesn't have $200,000, $300,000 to buy a house, but we have to show that we're responsible adults, right? Tori said it doesn't matter how much money you make. If you don't have savings, you're not ready to purchase. That part, right? There are people that make $200,000 that have less money annually, that have less money saved than somebody that makes $30,000. It just happens. I've had Shavana is a mutual friend of mine and Tori's, and she said, I can get somebody qualified that works at McDonald's with like no debt faster than I can get somebody that's making like $40,000, $50,000 a year with $100,000 in student loan debt, right? So think about credit, think about savings, think about job stability, right? If that exists nowadays. So number 2, I'm gonna read one more comment. I know so many people who go on to credit repair specialists, folks who delete high things on their credit report even if they still owe money. Have you ever encountered anything like that? Absolutely have. Gonna take a moment to answer this question. And Chris, if you want to chime in, if you're still here, feel free. There are some things that are gonna come back up on that LexisNexis report. So where Chris works, they do things a little different. They automatically pay the money up front to run. So when you call Chase, for lack of a better word, or let's say Wintrust, I want to buy a house. Great. What's your social? You give your social, they run your credit, you tell them how much money you make. They're going off of what they see right then. You can get a qualification, pre-approval, whatever, right? A real solid approval, they have your bank statements, they have your taxes, but they still don't have your transcripts now. They have your credit, but a lot of lenders wait until the week of closing, like 3 days before the closing, to actually pull your LexisNexis report. So although it may not show up on your credit report, you still owe, you're still responsible for it. It was deleted. It may still be attached to your name and on your LexisNexis, and then now you can't close, right? So definitely have had that. And if you can get certain things deleted that should be deleted, great. And you know, even adding trade lines, that's a thing, and CPNs, right? Mortgage lenders are looking for seasoning. So if you just added a trade line in 2019 and you've only been on a trade line for 3 months, and now you're trying to buy a house, they're going to eliminate that when they're looking at your credit score, right? So just do it the right way, right? Do it the right way. So number two, because I don't want these to be too long. Thank you, for everybody that put a number 2 in the comments. Chris said dispute is not deleted. Scores will drop once no disputes pending. While you seek funding, LexisNexis from the jump. Now again, Chris, where this loan officer, they pull your LexisNexis in the beginning, so they have a greater understanding of where their clients are and getting to the closing table. just because you're approved, so you can get pre-approved, pay your earnest money, have the inspection done, have the appraisal done, you fall in love with this home, you're falling in love with this property, you're waiting on to clear the close, and then they pull your LexisNexis and say, sorry. Right? Best thing somebody can do. I just had a talk with a family member. She paid a credit repair specialist, and she's like, they haven't even done anything. And then she was like, they haven't even disputed anything. And I'm like, you cannot have open disputes on your credit when you're trying to buy, right? So there's certain things you can't do. I said the best thing to do would be to contact some loan officers, get with a real estate professional, let them look at your credit, more so your loan officer. And it's a caveat to that, because all loan officers are not made equal, and kind of let them give you an idea of what you want to do. Hell, if you can find an underwriter, that would be great, right? So number 2, this is a funny one, but as a real estate agent, to me it's funny, I had to throw it in. You don't know what area you want to live in. I have people tell me, you know, I just want to live somewhere safe, and I'm like, I was born and raised on the west side of Chicago. Now, granted, I was born and raised in Northwest Austin. Basically, I'm as far west as you can go before you hit Oak Park on my side that I'm on. Not saying that it's any better, worse, or whatever, but I feel safe on the west side of Chicago, right? Some people from the south side are like, I should have put my do not disturb on. Some people are like, I would never, right? So have an idea. So one, there's something called steering, right? Where back in the day, a real estate agent would say, no, don't live in this area, live in this area. So you had populations that were overpopulated with African Americans, Hispanics, whatever, and they were steered away from other areas. That's illegal. It's literally illegal for me to tell you where to live. I can tell you about up and coming areas that I know about in Chicago. I can tell you about areas that are, you know, potentially being gentrified. I can give you an idea of the economic income in the area and some facts that we can find. But as a real estate agent, as the client, you need to know and have ideas of where you want to live. Drive around communities, drive around areas, right? Do research online. Then there's also something called blockbusting, where an agent comes and you need to sell because the blacks are coming, the Hispanics are coming. So there are some things that are illegal. So sometimes, and this will help you when you're working with a real estate agent, it's not that the agent is not trying to help. It's that, like, we have a license, we have duties. So having an idea of where you want to live. Now, you could just say western suburbs, these particular areas, not these areas. I can work with that. But when we're thinking about Chicago land and somebody says, I just want to live somewhere safe, it's like, I worked out in Park Forest and I'm hearing about gunshots in apartment buildings and different, like, I need some help with that, because what's safe for one may not be safe for another. But the other reason why you're not ready is because it's like, this is a major purchase. This is a major decision. You are an adult that has the ability to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars. How do you not know where you want to live? Like, are you really ready for the responsibility, right? So put a number 1 in the comments for me if you're ready for number 1. I also have a bonus for you. If you have a question, comment, concern, go ahead and drop it in there for me. Like the video, love the video, share the video. I am doing a Claim Your Keys challenge. It kicks off on Sunday. So if anybody is thinking about purchasing real estate, even if you've bought and you're now a first-time seller that's going through the buying process again, it'll be a great challenge for you. It's free. The link is in the title. You can go to Linktree, my Linktree page, but the link is in the title of the video. I'm going to take people step by step. It's actually going to be a 30-step process, because the goal is to purchase, protect, and pass down if you so choose, right? You are only leaving your property because you want to sell, you want to rent, you no longer want it, but not because it's a foreclosure or a deed in lieu of foreclosure or any other reason that people sometimes lose their property or give up their property, right? I missed all type of comments. Hold on. Cheap lenders, laugh out loud. We spend the 76 to keep all parties peace of mind. And I definitely appreciate that, because as a realtor, the worst thing is you're all excited, your buyer is all excited, and you don't get to the closing table. Regina asks, why wouldn't all lenders pull the LexisNexis in the beginning? Wouldn't that save everyone time? You know, so Christopher, a lender, called them cheap. It's a good question, because it's $75, right? And before I met Christopher and his counterpart, the owner of the loan company, I never even processed it that way. I never even thought about it. I've never had an issue where my client didn't close at the table either, knock on wood. But why not spend the $76 up front? Even if you pass the cost on to the consumer, we now have an idea of if we're going to make it to the closing table. Because this process could take 30 days or less, but sometimes this process is drawn out. So you mean to tell me we've been doing this for 3, 4, 6 months and my client can't even close because there's something on their LexisNexis that they thought disappeared, but it came back to haunt them, right? So it's the real estate it can be stressful. You can also go to a housing counselor and they can help create a plan to help you get mortgage ready. Absolutely. And some of these programs, like these grant programs, if they're giving money, they want to know that you are an informed consumer. So they're going to require you to go to a home education class. Not only go to the class, they want to see a certificate, right? So Regina, Chris had already answered your comment. Thank you all for the number ones. So the number one reason why now is not a good time for you to buy property: you don't know how much mortgage you can afford, right? And I'm gonna unpack that. Before you do the bonus, can you do a quick repeat of 5 and number 4? Sure. So number 5, Ashley, if you're still here, you come back. You've never looked at your credit report before. You don't know what your FICO score is. So that was number 5. Understanding your credit report and how it works is very important. So basically, a lot of these are simply you having a strong understanding of your financial position to even make the steps to make such a major purchase. Buying a home is like one of the most major, can I say that? Most major. Most money people will spend almost in their lifetime on one thing. I don't care whether it's $100,000 or $200,000, unless you have hundreds of thousands of dollars in student loans, right? And number 4 is you allow your tax preparer, you kind of close your eyes and say, sure, give me the maximum refund, right? And now you have the maximum refund, and there are things on your tax transcripts that you don't understand, and it may kill you. Not kill you, it may kill the deal when you get to the closing table. I have to be mindful of what I say. So you don't know how much mortgage you can afford. The lender is approving you off of your gross, right? I've said this plenty of times. You don't bring your gross home. So you may be approved for this $300,000, but does it financially make sense, right? We're purchasing, protecting, and passing down. Does it make sense to go to the max approval on the bottom line, right? People aren't looking at the numbers. You aren't really looking at what your numbers are. They're only taking into consideration what's on your credit report. If you get your hair done, your eyebrows, your lashes, your nails, your kids' haircut, your husband, whatever have you, those things are not taken into consideration. The only thing that's taken into consideration when it comes to you is your debt. And it's only debt that reports on your credit, not your light bill, your gas bill, or anything like that, right? So basically, today's 5 reasons now is not a good time to buy property all revolve around, thank you, money management, understanding your finances, understanding how money works. Yes, Tori, you don't want to be house poor, right? So many of us, we get in these situations, we buy the property, now we have it, and we're trying to figure out why the numbers don't add up. Well, I never really had a budget to begin with. I didn't have a spending plan. I knew this is what I qualified for, and so I went with it, right? Now, some lenders are looking at a monthly amount, and one thing I've told people is, if you pay $1,200, $1,400, $1,600 right now for rent, or whatever your rent payment is, and you're kind of comfortable there, even if you're approved for whatever, try to see if your payment can stay around what you're paying for rent. Now, maybe you can afford way more than what you're paying for rent. You're killing it on the saving side, and you are very financially sound. Go for it. But understand your numbers. Even as a real estate investor, I was just having a conversation with someone yesterday, because they were like, well, hard money lenders, and I won't get into that, but they were like, hard money lenders, the interest rate. I said, the interest rate isn't your concern. Your concern is the numbers. Do the numbers make sense? You're not going to be in a hard money loan forever, right? But right now, interest rates are low. So it is a good time to buy for those who are ready. Now, the bonus, Tia Shine said something. She said, people don't understand credit. People don't read the terms and conditions. Most people, so the bonus is, most people don't understand a mortgage, right? I have a potential client. She's a lead right now. And I sent her my welcome packet, and I sent her some referrals for mortgage lenders, and I told her that she should shop around and talk to mortgage lenders, because you may get a different interest rate, they may have different fees. And this was just me reading the article years ago, how we spend so much time shopping for our home, right? This is a bonus. We spend so much time shopping for our home, but we don't shop for the mortgage. Now, you should not have more than 3 lenders run your credit within a 30-day time period, right? But at least talk to and consider 3 different lenders. And a lot of us don't understand a mortgage. A lot of people don't even know that mortgage literally means a death pledge, right? It's a death pledge. And some people say, well, you know, once I die, that's it. No, when you die, your bills, somebody still owes that money. If you have assets, they want their money, right? Your mortgage can be passed on to your children. It's in the paperwork. I'm not saying it's in every mortgage, but I started to read mine, because you don't know what you don't know, right? So this isn't saying be afraid of it, but it is saying we as adults, we need to really adult, right? Do you understand the mortgage documents that you're signing? Do you understand how your mortgage works? Right? Do you understand that although you've purchased this property, and I was gonna say the sticker price, Lord have mercy, the list price was $250,000, and you have a down payment and you have closing costs, there are also lender fees. The lender has to get paid. So although you've put down a down payment and pay closing costs, you still might be financing $250,000, or maybe a little more, maybe a little less. Like, do you understand that? Do you know what questions to ask a mortgage lender, right? People will vet out their realtors, which is great, but also vetting out your lender. Like, learning today, all lenders don't pull a LexisNexis, right? Now, if you pretty much have an idea of what's on your credit and you haven't tried to do anything shady, it may not be a big deal. But if you know that you've had some things deleted and you think that they're completely gone, you may want to ask the lender, when do you pull a LexisNexis? Have you ever had a situation where the client wasn't able to close because something came up that you didn't catch in the beginning of the process. Because you've fallen in love with this home. Your family has been in the home. You've mentally decorated it. You have your furniture in the cart ready to buy it once you sign the paper and close. And then you don't make it to the closing table. Or you make it to the closing table and don't close. That's happened before. And to somebody's point, and then people don't get paid. The realtor isn't getting paid. Now the seller may have to start the process all over again. Even the mortgage loan officer. Would it make sense for them to run it in the beginning? Sure. Because a lot of them are working on commission, like low salary commission. So nobody gets paid until the deal is signed at the closing table. The realtor, the loan officer, a lot of times the lawyer, right? So sometimes we're all doing work and then nobody gets paid. But more importantly, you don't get your dream home that you wanted, right? So I am jamesiajohnai, the wealth creator. I show people how to use other people's money to pay their mortgage, create cash flow, generate generational wealth, and protect their assets. Thank you for tuning in to the 5 reasons why now is not a good time to buy. If you are just joining, you'll have to watch the replay of this video. Like the video, love the video, share the video. If you or someone you know, you're welcome, Sia Sean. If you or someone you know is thinking about purchasing a home, thinking about selling a home, I am doing a free how to purchase, protect, pass down home buying webinar. I don't even want to call it a webinar. I'm doing a home buying steps. So anybody that signs up, you'll get my welcome packet with information. You'll get the steps to home ownership. And then those that want to tune in, there will be exclusive live videos and webinars for those who actually registered, where we will have Q&A and dialogue, but I'll break down every step in the process so that you are a more informed consumer and buyer when it comes to the process. Because one of the things about the home buying process that many experience, it is a very stressful. It can be very stressful. It can be very stressful, very trying. The lender keeps asking for stuff. The seller doesn't want to fix this. Just a lot of things and emotions happen that great realtors like myself, we're managing people's emotions. We're therapists. Like, you all don't understand, right? Your buyer's agent is literally getting in the trenches with you, going through the emotions with you. They're just as happy as you are when you close and get that dream home for you and your family. So go back into the title. The link is there. I'll also post it in the comments for you to join the challenge, register. You will get all of the documents up front. So if you're a self-starter, self-learner, great, cool. And then there will be webinars and complimentary videos to really break down what it is that you have. So I'm jamesiajohnai. Like the video, love the video. You're just coming in, or whenever you watch this, make sure you say hello, share the video, leave a comment, slide in my inbox if you're kind of shy, right? It's fine with me. Have a great, what is it, Wednesday? Have a great Wednesday.